Fenerbahce away on Thursday. It's a big game for Manchester United. I suppose every game is a big game for Manchester United. After the impressive second half performance against Brentford, can United continue it? I've spoken about the need for consistency, and it has to start away in Europe where we've just been chaos. It cannot be chaos on Thursday. Rule number one, it can't be chaos. Probably will be because it's Mourinho and it's Fenerbahce. I'm going to run through the team news, what Mourinho said. He's always box office, always has been. He's fun. More fun when he's not United manager now. Anyway, team news, all that jazz. Let me know your prediction and your starting 11 in the comments. Let's get into this video. As I said, it's Mourinho. United are going to have to bring their A game. Ten Hag's going to have to bring his A game because from a personal perspective, Mourinho will be desperate for this win. From his own perspective, let alone Fenerbahce's. And that drives a little bit of a different sort of Mourinho. You see this comment? I'm laughing because it's funny. And I'm laughing because it's true. Mourinho speaking in the pre-match press conference saying, look, if City do get punished, you never know. Might end up getting that bonus that I should have got. Might end up getting the... It is funny. As I said, Mourinho, you kind of wish that it wouldn't reach that point, but it did in the third season. And I remember when after Fergie retired, I was so against the idea of United going for Mourinho. Then 3 years later, I was like, yeah, Mourinho, in you come. Was it 2? No, it was 3 years later. Anyway, that's in the past. I hope we spank Mourinho and Fenerbahce on a Thursday. Now, in terms of team news, right? Here's from United. The official team will be flying out at some point this afternoon. Casemiro took part in training, of course. Bruno Fernandes can't play. De Ligt, he was fine after the head injury against Brentford. Johnny Evans is a doubt after picking up a knock. Malacia trained. Mazraoui trained. Luke Shaw trained individually. And lots of youngsters were involved. Harry Amass, Ruben Curley, Jack Kingdon, Sam Madder, Habib Ogunai, and Ethan Wheatley. So you could see, and I'll be surprised if you don't, some younger players in this squad. Now, in terms of Fenerbahce's last couple of games, right? This was their last Europa League game. 1-1 against Twente. I can relate to that score. Going down here, see the team they played. Fred and Amrabat played in midfield. They got Tadic and Nesri. And then you go to their 2-2 at the weekend against Samsunspor, who were third in the league. I think they're 6 points off Galatasaray. Eden Dzeko. Fred's there again. Amrabat's there again. I reckon both of them will start. You know full well, right? You don't need me to tell you this. It's going to be spicy. Very spicy. Don't know why I'm coughing there. The atmosphere, it really will be. But I do not want that chaos that we've seen almost in every single game away from home in Europe under Erik Ten Hag. Feels like it anyway. This was the team that played Brentford. And I think there has to be some changes. Now, that Brentford game, right? The second half was one of the best that we'd seen, certainly this season. But it just felt like United. And look how structured this is. The passing network shows how United's players were lining up, average positions, and where the passes were going. That there is a formation. We've got two centre-backs. We've got full-backs in full-back positions. We've got Hojlund, Bruno, Eriksen, and Casemiro all operating centrally. Not on top of each other. I didn't feel like they were at any point on top of each other, but also operating centrally, staying compact. And then you had Garnacho and Rashford operating. Look, it's a good shape. And that was part of the reason why United had a good game against Brentford. Now, in terms of the starting 11, you can see Evans is down there in yellow because he's a bit of a doubt. And the question, I suppose, is what happens with Martinez then? Does Martinez play out at left back again? I think if Evans was fit, I don't think you'd change anything from that back line against Brentford. However, I don't think he will be. And I don't think he'll be risked. And I think you'll probably likely see this. I think you'll see Martinez come in, and I actually think Erik Ten Hag will keep Dalot over on that right-hand side and put Mazraoui at left-back. Just because that was the beginnings of something like Dalot and Rashford work really well together. And again, against Fenerbahce, you'll probably see at some point Dalot's going to be getting into these positions when Onana's on the ball here and Onana looking for that ball over the top with a run from Dalot. Right, that ball there, or whatever you want to call it, that Brentford couldn't handle and actually created some opportunities. I can see United doing that again. But I think you'll see Mazraoui start. But the big question is who replaces Bruno? Right, let me run through some things here. Because Bruno's out of the team. He is suspended, cannot play in this game. So there's different options. You could, for example, you could bring Xerxes on and play him in that number 10 role. You could push Eriksen up and play him in that number 10. You could, if you wanted to, you could also play Ahmad centrally in that number 10. Here's what I think is going to happen. Somebody who is definitely going to start is Ugarte, and somebody who I definitely think we need starting this game. I think we need his movement. So just for now, I'll put Eriksen on the bench because I think it'll be Ugarte and Casemiro in midfield. And I actually think in front of Ugarte will be Eriksen. That's what I'm predicting, right? I think we'll see that as a midfield trio. Eriksen in the number 10 position, which is actually a better position for Christian Eriksen. Less need to cover ground, more time, hopefully, to look up and try and find the balls in behind in the sorts of spaces that Bruno would usually occupy. Now, I think the other option to Eriksen would be Xerxes. And at some point this season, I would really like to see Xerxes and Hojlund, because I might be wrong here with Eriksen. You could well see this instead. You could see it probably would be Ugarte and Eriksen if only those two played together. And then you may well see United try this. Now, I know that not everybody has been enjoying this formation. But in this formation, in the 4-2-4, United have been probably the most compacted that they have in any games, really. City was a big example. By doing that, you'd have Xerxes and Hojlund playing centrally together further up. You wouldn't have a number 10, right? So it'll be kind of balls from deep, or you'd see Xerxes or Hojlund dropping deep to get that ball. And maybe that would be. It's either that. It's either the 4-2-4 with Xerxes and Hojlund as the two kind of false nines dropping a little bit deeper, but then would you have someone in the box? Or you play Eriksen in the number 10. Now, my prediction is Eriksen in the number 10. And then you keep Casemiro alongside Ugarte. So the same formation that we had against Brentford, just with the change there of Ugarte and pushing Eriksen slightly further up. My prediction. In terms of the front three, don't think you need to change it. Why would you? Second half, we look really good. Rashford operating in those spaces here because Delo ended up pushing more here and occupying the defenders more as a traditional fullback. We've kind of been starved of that. I understand the concept of the inverted fullback, but I don't think it's particularly worked for us. I will play that front three. Now, Ahmad's a great option from the bench, and I feel sorry for Ahmad. But I would start that. I would start Rashford out on the right, Garnacho on the left, and Hojlund through the middle. Predictions for this game. Boy, answers on a postcard. There is no chance I'm getting this one right. Well, if history repeats itself, then expect chaos. Right? Expect it to be like a 2-2 or another 3-3. And I hope I'm wrong. I'm going to go for 2-1 again. I don't hope I'm wrong with that one. I just do not want to see United just be compact. You have to be compact. Don't play up to the occasion. Even if you're 2-0 up like you are away at Porto, don't lose control of the game from that point. Simple. I say simple. It's not very simple at all. I'm going for a 2-1 again. Truth be told, I think it's going to be chaos. I think unless United break character, then it will be chaos. And in my opinion, United have to break character. I don't think Ten Hag can afford these roller coaster ups and downs, the positive of the second half against Brentford and then go into Istanbul and chaos everywhere and just conceding 20 shots and just so much space. Make this the beginning of something different, Eric. It has to continue with Fenerbahce and West Ham. 2-1 prediction from me. Ish. What's yours? Let me know in the comments.